Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we have an update and a current event happening in Joe Biden news. Joe Biden is, of course, the former vice president who's also running for president this year. In fact, he's had a rather controversial run, to say the least. He's been hiding in his basement most of the year because his handlers clearly think that if he speaks in public too much, he's going to mess things up. He's like the de facto candidate because the Democrats really had no one else better to run. But it's coming to light that over time, Joe Biden's time and his ideas and his thoughts and his very, very frail cognitive abilities, they're cracking. He's starting to crack under the pressure, and it's becoming apparent with his recent appearances in the news that are very, very few and far between, mind you. I mean, he hasn't had many appearances at all. He's not doing press conferences. He's not taking questions. He's not doing rallies. He's even said he's not going to his convention for the Democrats. Like, he's not going anywhere. He is hiding in his basement. That is not just an exaggeration. He's hiding. He won't come out. He's afraid to talk to people because anytime he speaks on the cuff, there's a chance he's going to mess up. And if there's a chance, there's probably a 9 out of 10 chance that it's going to be a bad mess up that's going to probably derail his campaign. Now, he stayed on the rails mostly this year because everyone's defending him in the mainstream media. He has had great support with the liberals at CNN, MSNBC, all the reporters, all the people in the press. They're trying to cover this up because they just hate Trump enough that they'll elect anyone else. They don't care if this guy's too old and too frail and not quick enough to handle the presidency. They just want Trump out. So they've been covering for him, but still, there's videos out there, as we're going to go over today. We've got a new one where Joe Biden insults a black reporter, and we've also got another clip that just came out just now before recording this video where he said something about black people thinking all alike, unlike Latinos. Now, that's a very, very controversial thing to say right out the gate, so we're going to discuss all this today and more. We're going to go over the clips, the details, and Joe Biden's terrible stage presence. This comes from a tweet right here. It says, Biden, no, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would you take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test, were you taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie? So this is a very hard kind of thing to say. You're not really getting it because I'm kind of speaking it better. It sounds better if you just read it straight up. I mean, it sounds like coherent. It doesn't sound good at all. It doesn't sound like a good thing to say, but I'm actually saying it in a coherent and understandable way. But at the end, obviously, he's accusing this guy of taking drugs and being a junkie, which is just really strange. And it's really kind of like a almost borderline racist kind of thing. I don't know why he would think drugs and junkie when he's talking to a black man who's a reporter. He looks very professional. Sure, he's broadcasting from his home, but so is Joe Biden. I mean, everyone's doing that these days. That's part of COVID. That's part of the new situation we're in. You have to kind of set up offices and TV spots at your house. But let's go ahead and check the video and then talk about it more.
Have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump?
Okay, that's a very odd start. Very, very strange. He's trying to joke. I think he's trying to be jovial, but it's coming across, again, offensive, strange, and like very defensive too. Like, here's the thing I've noticed recently, like we were saying, Joe Biden has very few public appearances. He hardly gets any questions at all, and when he does, they're pretty softball questions. He's prepared for them. He gets a time and people to write answers for him. Like, he's totally prepared, but even so, like, even being treated with kid gloves, he still gets very angry. It's very strange. Like, he can't stand any kind of contention. And this guy is being very nice. He clearly works for CBS News. This is what's in the background here and on his title card. He works for CBS. That's a very biased left-wing outlet. He's in a friendly area, but he's still getting angry about this test. And that says a lot of things. Like I was saying at first, it shows that he can't handle the little bit of pushback. He can't handle any kind of hard question at all, which is just totally the opposite of Trump. Trump gets tough-balled and thrown at all the time with the worst questions of all time, and he handles it with grace. He sometimes will call people out too. Like, I think that's kind of what Biden's going for here. But the problem is Biden isn't getting tough questions. He's getting regular, normal questions of a very prominent political candidate for the highest office, not only in our country, but in the world. I mean, the president of the United States is a very important position. So he should be getting interesting questions. But the fact is he can't handle it, and he's back and he's going after them. He's lashing out, and he's calling this guy a drug addict because he asked him about the cognitive test. Now, this isn't out of nowhere. This isn't like a story that's popping up because this guy brought it up. This is because Trump took a cognitive test. This has been brought up by reporters. They tried to attack Trump with this for years. They've tried to say Trump wasn't fit for office. They tried to say he was in bad shape. They tried to say he was crazy and his mind wasn't working right. And every time they do, he takes a test and proves them wrong. He brings out a doctor who says he's completely healthy. He has a psychologist who says he's cleared to go. He has no issues. Like every single time he took this test recently, this happened a week or two ago, Trump took a cognitive ability test. And yeah, he passed. He did well. He explained it to some reporters. He showed that he's got the ability. He's not scared. He's not hiding anything. And then that's what spurred into this situation. Now we're back to this video. And now we have a CBS reporter. His name's Errol Barnett. And he simply asked Biden if he's going to take a test, and he snapped. Like Biden just lost it. He's like, no, I'm not taking a test. What are you, a drug addict? Like he's calling him the worst thing possible. And it's just a simple question. And it just goes to show, like, he probably does need to take a test. He's a little too defensive. He could possibly fail or not pass it or not do well. You know, it would be a bad sign if he took it. And on top of that, you're going to see, let's get to more of his responses. Like, he doesn't sound like someone who is very, very credible. Like, he seems like he might need to take a test. Like, he can't form sentences. He's mishmashing his words. He's talking over this guy. Like, he can't listen. Like, he just looks like a guy who doesn't have those abilities.
Who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters.
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates.
What the heck kind of sentence is that? I so am looking forward to the opportunity to sit at the debates. Like he's not even getting a proper sentence structure out there. He can't even properly convey his thoughts. He's talking about lions and tigers and totally random stuff over there, like totally misremembering the situation. I think he's actually remembering the time that Trump took the test and then CNN talked about it, and Don Lemon couldn't tell the difference between a rhinoceros and an elephant, and that was joked about when he was talking with Chris Cuomo. I think that's actually what Biden's remembering there, because Trump had nothing to do with that. Like, Trump didn't misremember animals. Like, that was just a factor of the test. They use certain things to test your abilities. They like mention a sentence. Like, for example, if you just want an example of these cognitive tests, like they'll say a sentence like, the elephant sprayed water out on the pavilion at a zoo in Georgia. And they'll read that sentence and they'll be like, all right, what kind of animal was it? Where was they at? And what state? And, you know, and they'll be like, all right, it was an elephant spraying water, zoo, Georgia. You know, you just got to remember the bits, and it's part of the test. And, you know, it doesn't really matter about the animals specifically, but yeah, this is Joe Biden, I think, misremembering, also not forming a coherent sentence while trying to show that he's cognitively able to compete with Trump. He can't. This guy can't compete with Trump.
There can be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
So he can't even finish the sentence. He's like physical and mental fitness. He can't even talk. The guy can't talk. I actually feel really bad for him. You could tell he's like kind of beaten and downtrodden when he said, I'm not going to say that. Like, you could tell he's been told over and over again to be careful what he says. He's going to get in trouble. And it just seems like he's like a broken, beaten down man who can't form sentences. And he's trying to hype up this bravado. He's trying to act like he's confident and he can go up against Trump, but it's just looking very forced and fake. I mean, you could tell this guy can't cut it. He's not going to make it. And that's just the way it's going to be. Next, we got one last clip of Biden. This time he's talking about how Latinos have diversity of thought, unlike black people. This is absolutely racist and offensive. And let's go ahead and hear it for ourselves.
What you all know, but most people don't know, Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. What you all know, but
So he's saying that Latinos have diversity. They think different on lots of different issues, but black people don't. He's saying all black people think the same. They all have the same thoughts, and, they're just this kind of monolith. And that's not true. I mean, that's what the liberals like to think. That's what Biden seems to think. He comes from a very old time, like racist kind of era. He was pro-segregation and all that stuff. So this really shouldn't surprise us too much, but we do have to expose it. We do have to put it out there. This is from, I believe, a similar kind of outlet. This looks like the same kind of video. It's got Yahoo on the bottom, and Biden's in the same location, the same suit. I guess maybe he's done a couple different interviews from this location, but basically, yeah, this goes to show not only does Biden lack the mental aptitude to be the president, but he also has very old school, dated thoughts about black people. Firstly, in the last clip, we saw him call a black reporter a junkie, saying maybe he took some drugs, like he's some kind of addict, even though that guy was clearly a big professional. He was clean cut in a suit, working for a big news outlet. Like, this guy had nothing to do with that, but it just goes to show what Biden thinks. It's like going back to his first quote, like he says, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, that was the worst quote he had probably yet. And maybe this one tops it. This one, last one we just listened to, says that black people all think the same. And I think this could be a deal breaker for him. This is why people like Kanye West and other prominent black people, they don't like Joe Biden. They don't think he's special. He panders to the woke crowd, and he tries to act like he's down with minorities, but he's really racist and offensive, and he thinks lowly of them. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. Subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications. Until next time, you can also check out the NoBS News channel for extra videos, but for now, have a great day. Hey guys, I just want to take a quick moment to tell you about our new second channel. I've recently updated and revamped the second channel, now called NoBS News. There I'm posting extra videos that I can't fit on this channel. I'm also doing some live streams, I'm playing video games, and doing lots of other cool, fun stuff for you guys. I want to give you guys more content on a separate channel, so you can go and subscribe there, hit that bell for notifications. I'm going to put a link below to NoBS News, or just search NoBS News on YouTube. It's our second channel. It's a lot of fun, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.